Micromanagement is one of the biggest, quietest killers of business growth. Most founders don't even realize they're doing it. They think they're being responsible, staying hands-on, or protecting the business from mistakes. But the truth is simple. When you micromanage, you limit your team, your innovation, and your company's ability to scale. Your business will only grow to the level of control you're willing to release. And most entrepreneurs hold on so tightly that they choke their own progress. Micromanagement usually starts with good intentions. You care about quality. You care about your customers. You want everything to run smoothly. But somewhere along the way, the desire to contribute turns into a pattern of hovering, reviewing every detail, checking every decision, and inserting yourself into tasks that shouldn't involve you. You begin rewriting emails, redoing work people were hired to do, and spending hours fixing things instead of building things. You tell yourself it's temporary, but it becomes a habit, and that habit becomes a ceiling. The real problem is the belief underneath micromanagement. I'm the only one who can do it right. That belief is both false and dangerous. When you operate from that mindset, you accidentally train your team to be dependent on you. They stop making decisions because they know you will override them. They stop taking ownership because they know you'll redo their work. They stop growing because you don't give them the space to practice, fail, learn, and improve. Suddenly, you're surrounded by people who wait for your approval on everything, and you start wondering why you're the only one who seems to care. But the truth is, they don't own the work because you never let them. Meanwhile, the cost of micromanagement compounds. Your time disappears into low-value tasks, your creative energy burns out, your stress increases because you are involved in everything, and the worst part? Your company becomes unscalable. If your business requires your constant supervision, it can never grow beyond your personal capacity. That means no more free time, no real delegation, no expansion, and no long-term sustainability. The business becomes a job you can't leave instead of an asset you can build. The moment a leader stops micromanaging, everything changes. It creates space for people to step up, take ownership, and perform at a higher level. It forces clarity, better systems, and stronger communication. It allows you to focus on the work that truly grows the company instead of babysitting tasks that don't move the needle. When you stop micromanaging, you stop being the bottleneck and start being the leader your business needs. A strong communication framework is the backbone of a scalable business. Most companies don't fail because of a lack of talent or strategy. They fail because people don't know what's expected of them, how success is measured, or what the priorities actually are. When communication is inconsistent, everything becomes reactive. You find yourself putting out fires, repeating instructions, chasing updates, and wondering why people don't follow through. A communication framework removes that chaos by creating a predictable rhythm where everyone knows what to do, when to do it, and why it matters. The first part of a powerful communication system is clarity. Your team should never have to guess what good looks like. That means defining outcomes, timelines, and standards before work begins, not after mistakes happen. Many leaders communicate expectations only when something goes wrong, and then wonder why their team feels confused or discouraged. Consistent clarity turns expectations into agreements. It gives people confidence because they know exactly how to win in their role. The second part is structure. Growth requires a rhythm, weekly meetings, daily check-ins, and monthly reviews, not to micromanage, but to create alignment. A solid meeting rhythm keeps the team focused on priorities and eliminates unnecessary backhand. Fourth, weekly leadership meetings allow you to review goals, discuss challenges, and adjust quickly. One check-ins keep each team member accountable and supported. This structure takes the guesswork out of communication and replaces it with a dependable flow of information. The third part of an effective communication system is reporting. People should come to you with numbers, updates, and progress, not excuses. A scorecard for each role creates transparency. Now you're no longer relying on gut feelings or personality. You're operating from data. When communication is backed by numbers, it becomes objective, neutral, and solution-focused. And because your team knows exactly what will be measured, they show up prepared. That shifts the culture from "tell me what to do" to "here's what I accomplished." Then there's consistency. Systems only work when you follow them, especially when things get busy. Many leaders drop communication habits during chaos, thinking they'll save time. But the reality is the opposite. Skipping communication creates confusion, and confusion costs far more time and energy to repair later. Consistency builds trust. It makes people feel supported and accountable. It turns your expectations into a reliable framework instead of occasional reminders. When communication is structured, clear, and consistent, your team becomes self-sufficient. They stop relying on you for every answer because they have the information and expectations up front. Problems get solved faster. Projects move smoother. You free up your time because the system holds the team together, not your constant involvement. A strong communication framework is what transforms a group of individuals into a unified, aligned, high-performing team capable of scaling a business without chaos. Performance, tracking, and accountability are the systems that separate businesses that grow from businesses that stay stuck. Most leaders assume their team knows what to do, how to do it, and what success looks like. But assumptions are the fastest road to disappointment. A performance system removes the guesswork. It takes emotion out of leadership and replaces it with clarity, data, and ownership. When people know exactly what they're responsible for and how their work will be measured, they naturally rise to a higher standard. The foundation of performance tracking is role-specific KPI. Every position in your company should have 3-5 measurable outcomes that define success. Not tasks, not activities, outcomes. Sales should have revenue targets. Marketing should have lead generation metrics. Operations should have fulfillment and accuracy rates. Admin roles should have turnaround times and error percentages. When each role has numbers tied to it, you no longer manage people. You manage performance, and performance is far easier to scale. Once KPI are established, the next layer is accountability meetings. Accountability is not about being harsh or micromanaging. It's about creating a predictable rhythm where performance is reviewed consistently. Weekly one-on-one meetings keep people aligned with their KPI. In these meetings, your team brings their numbers, their wins, their challenges, and their plan for the upcoming week. This shifts responsibility onto them. They prepare, they reflect, they own their performance instead of waiting for you to check on them. The meeting becomes a space for problem solving, not policing. A strong accountability system also eliminates surprises. You never want to discover that someone is underperforming months too late. Weekly reviews show you exactly where things stand in real time. If numbers dip, you address it immediately with coaching, support, or adjustments. If numbers rise, you recognize the behavior and reinforce it. This consistency creates a culture where performance is expected, measured, and celebrated. It also gives people psychological safety because expectations are clear and feedback is regular. Another crucial component is documentation. Performance conversations should be recorded in simple, structured notes. Not to create pressure, but to create clarity. Documentation ensures no one walks away wondering what was agreed upon or what needs improvement. It protects both you and your team from misunderstanding. It also makes managing growth easier when you eventually promote, reassign, or hire. Finally, performance systems create independence. When team members know their KPI, track their own work, and review progress every week, they become self-managed. They no longer need you checking on them constantly because the system does that for you. Accountability becomes part of the culture, not a reaction to problems, but a rhythm of excellence that drives results. When performance tracking and accountability are in place, your business becomes significantly easier to lead. You gain visibility, your team gains ownership, and everyone operates with clarity. This is how you scale, not by doing more yourself, but by building a team that consistently performs at a high level without your constant involvement. A strong hiring and onboarding system is one of the greatest competitive advantages a scaling business can have. Most companies think their problem is finding good people, but the truth is they don't have a predictable process to attract, evaluate, and integrate talent. Hiring shouldn't feel like gambling. Onboarding shouldn't feel like guesswork. When you build a real system, you remove emotion, rush, and randomness from the process, and you start bringing in people who actually elevate the business instead of adding to the workload. The first piece of a hiring system is clarity. You cannot hire the right person if you're not clear on what the role actually requires. Too many leaders post vague job descriptions filled with generic responsibilities that could apply to any company anywhere. This is how you attract unqualified applicants. A proper hiring system begins by defining the role's mission, its measurable outcomes, and the skills required to achieve those outcomes. When expectations are defined before you hire, the process becomes intentional instead of reactive. The next part is building a repeatable recruiting funnel. This includes where you post, how you filter applicants, and what steps every candidate must go through. High-quality candidates won't just appear. You need a system that brings them in consistently. Use screening questions to filter out the wrong people early. Use structured interviews where every candidate gets asked the same questions. This removes bias and allows you to compare people based on performance, not personality. A predictable hiring process saves time, protects your culture, and ensures you don't lower your standards when you're desperate to fill a role. Then comes the most overlooked area, onboarding. Many leaders think onboarding is just showing someone their desk, handing them a laptop, and hoping they figure things out, and that's exactly why new hires underperform. Onboarding should be a step-by-step plan that prepares someone to succeed. The first 30 days should include training, expectations, introductions, tools, and clear milestones. The goal is not to overwhelm the new hire, it's to give them the roadmap for what success looks like. A powerful onboarding system includes shadowing, role playing, checklists, and early wins. It provides clarity on what they need to learn, how fast they need to learn it, and who to go to for support. It also includes a weekly check-in rhythm, so progress is measured, not assumed. When onboarding is structured, new hires gain confidence quickly instead of feeling lost. And when they feel confident, they take ownership faster. A great hiring and onboarding system protects your business from expensive mistakes. It prevents you from hiring out of emotion. It ensures every new team member is aligned, trained, and ready to perform. Most importantly, it frees you from constantly fixing or rescuing new hires. Instead, your system develops them. And when your system develops people, your business becomes scalable, predictable, and far easier to lead. Operations and workflow automation are what transform a small, founder-dependent business into a smooth, predictable, scalable machine. Most entrepreneurs don't realize how much time they lose every day because their operations are messy, undocumented, or dependent on verbal instructions. When tasks live in your head instead of in a system, your team constantly interrupts you with questions, mistakes repeat themselves, and progress slows down. A strong operations and automation system removes uncertainty, eliminates bottlenecks, and creates a business that runs consistently. Whether you are present or not, the foundation of strong operations is documentation. If a process isn't written down, it doesn't exist. Many leaders avoid documentation because it feels slow or tedious, but this is the very thing that frees you from being involved in everything. Documenting your workflows, how you deliver services, how you handle customers, how you process orders, how you plan projects, gives everyone the same playbook. You stop answering the same questions. You stop solving the same problems. Your team executes with clarity instead of assumptions. Documentation is not just about instructions, it's about creating consistency across the entire company. Once your processes are documented, the next step is simplification. Systems fail when they're too complex. Your workflows should be simple enough that anyone on your team can follow them with minimal confusion. Many businesses accidentally build operations around exceptions rather than standards. This leads to messy, unpredictable systems that depend on the one person who knows how to do it. Eliminating unnecessary steps, combining repetitive tasks, and creating clean handoff points between team members streamlines execution. Simplification makes your operations faster and easier to scale. The next layer is delegation. Automated operations mean nothing if you still try to do everything yourself. Assigning ownership is crucial. Each part of your workflow should have a clear owner who is responsible for execution and reporting. This prevents tasks from floating around and ensures accountability. Delegation backed by documented processes allows your team to succeed without constant supervision. It turns your business from founder-driven to system-driven. Then comes automation, the multiplier. Automation removes manual, repetitive tasks from your plate and ensures tasks happen the same way every time. This includes using tools for scheduling, invoicing, follow-ups, customer onboarding, project management, data entry, reminders, and more. The goal isn't to replace people, it's to remove unnecessary human effort so your team can focus on you work. Automation reduces mistakes, increases speed, and frees hours of time you would otherwise spend on low-impact tasks. The final step is refinement. Operations are not set and forget. They must evolve as the business grows. Reviewing workflows quarterly allows you to see what's working, what's outdated, and where you can improve efficiency. This creates a culture of continuous improvement. Your team learns to upgrade the system, not bypass it. When operations and workflow automation are in place, your business becomes predictable, your team becomes empowered, and your growth becomes sustainable. You're no longer trapped in daily tasks because the system runs the day-to-day. This is how real scalability is built through structured operations that allow your company to grow without adding chaos. A personal leadership system is the engine behind every scalable business. You can have great people, strong systems, and clear goals, but if you as the leader are overwhelmed, inconsistent, or unfocused, the entire company feels it. Businesses grow at the speed of their leaders. And most entrepreneurs don't struggle because of a lack of opportunity. They struggle because they haven't built a system to manage their own time, energy, decisions, and priorities. A personal leadership system turns you from a reactive founder into a disciplined, intentional CEO. The first part of this system is clarity on priorities. Without it, everything feels urgent and everything demands your attention. A strong leader defines what truly moves the business forward. This means identifying the few high-impact activities that only you can do and protecting them. It also means learning to avoid the trap of constant busy work that feels productive but drains momentum. Priorities are not chosen once. They are reevaluated weekly so your actions align with the business's most critical goals. Next is time blocking. Leaders who don't control their schedule end up controlled by everyone else's needs. Time blocking creates structure and protects your focus. Instead of jumping between tasks all day, you assign windows of time for strategy, team meetings, development, planning, and rest. This reduces decision fatigue and increases consistency. When your day is structured, your team works more confidently because they know when they have access to you and when you're working on high-level initiatives. Another key element is decision filters. As your business grows, so do the decisions you must make. Without a filter, you drown in choices, not because they're difficult, but because there are too many. A decision filter helps you quickly determine what aligns with your goals, what can be delegated, and what doesn't matter. This reduces stress and speeds up progress. Strong leaders don't make every decision. They make the right ones and empower their team to handle the rest. A personal leadership system also includes self-development. Leaders who stop learning slow down their companies. Reading, mentorship, courses, and intentional skill development ensure you continue to evolve as the business expands. Growth requires discipline, it requires humility, it requires the ability to face your weaknesses and upgrade them. Your team can only grow safely in the space you create for them through your own growth. Finally, a personal leadership system includes reflection, weekly reviews, quiet thinking time, and honest evaluation of what's working and what's not. Reflection helps you refine your strategy, reset your energy, and course correct quickly. It prevents burnout and creates awareness before small issues become big ones. When your personal leadership system is strong, everything else in your business becomes easier, decisions become faster, priorities become clearer, your team becomes more confident, and your growth becomes predictable. Leading yourself well is the foundation for leading others. It's the system that transforms a founder with potential into a CEO with impact.